One of the most integral things for a great golf swing is good mobility through the thoracic spine and also length through the spine. Do you have adequate mobility through your spine? And would you like to know some exercises that can build that mobility and help you drive further with less impact on your joints? That's what we're going to do today. Hi, I'm Kimi Broadbent. I'm the owner of the Pilates Vibe, which is a physical studio and also online Pilates studio in Aspendale, Victoria. I'm also an educator for Polestar Pilates in Australia. And my father is a master professional golf coach who's been coaching for longer than I've been alive. So he's had a couple of golfers request a couple of videos on spine mobility from me. So here we are. This is what this is for. I've also taught Pilates at a number of golf clubs and helping their members stay active for longer. So let's get to it. Let's start on all fours. Hands underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips. And we're going to begin with some cat stretches. So we're rounding through the spine, curling the tail under and allow the head to just drop. And then pull back through into your extension, which is where you lift the head and lift the tail. Okay, we're just going to build onto this concept as we go through. Now, the number one thing as a golfer you need to keep in mind is, yes, we need spine mobility, but you need a long spine to move from. If you have a really shortened, depressed spine and then you try to force movement, you're just going to be pushing into your joints. So every exercise we go through here, I want you to think about length first and mobility second. Now, the other thing to consider here is with this flexion, most people have a lot of flexion through the upper portion of the back or the thoracic spine. But most people also sort of lack it through the lower spine. So focus on curling the tail under a little bit more and maybe back off the upper back if that's your posture and allow the neck to drop. Likewise, as we go through for extension, let the crown lift, let the tail lift. The neck will try to go all the way up and the lower back can drop a lot if you allow it. Maybe back those off to about 80%. But focus more on the thoracic spine curling or the chest plate shining through. It's kind of like if you had a laser beam on your sternum, you're shining that forward and up the wall. So usually it's that upper part of the back that gets stuck in flexion. So let's just go for one more here. Exhale as you round into cat, stretching the muscles of the back. And then pulling through to your extension, you can think of your hands kind of turning out a little bit and opening up through the chest. All right, so we're just going to push back into your child's pose stretch. Now from here, this is a really nice exercise to be able to get some length through the spine. If you have issues with your hips, knees or feet that doesn't allow you to do this, there are plenty of other options for you. But you could even just pop a little towel underneath the knees there to take some pressure off. So you're just going to hold in this position, just reaching out. And this gives you a nice reach underneath the shoulders, particularly that right side underneath the shoulder. And the waist, we find for golfers, gets a lot tighter than the left because of the setup of your drive. We're going to side bend to the left and take some deep breaths through the right side. As I said, normally we find that this side is a little bit tighter for the golfers. So maybe aim for about 6 deep breaths here. And then wander over to the other side. So you're aiming to keep your pelvis nice and steady. And just allow those left ribs to expand and open up, crawling the left fingertips along the floor. And you can just sink your chest right down into your thigh there. Okay, wander yourself back to center. Now we're going to just turn onto the side. Now this exercise is called book openings. This is going to help with your rotations. Take your head and rest it on your arm. The top arm reaches nice and long. Now just make sure on the mat that you've set up so your feet, spine and head are in a nice straight line. And if you'd prefer, you can just get a pillow under the arm and under the head and just send the other arm long. So the top arm's going to lift up toward the ceiling. Follow that hand with your gaze. Rest the head lazily into the other hand and then you rotate to the side. Now be sure not to let the knees split or the pelvis kind of rotate back. And so we keep all of the mobility into the spine. Take an inhale breath there, and then exhale, wind your waist back. So it's an oblique return rather than a shoulder return. So drag the shoulder back. And again, inhale, let the neck rotate first. So it's a segmental rotation. Then you think upper back starts to turn, middle back, ribs, low back. And when you're back here, just making sure that the shoulder stays open at the front and we don't end up with a popping shoulder like so. You might even aim it up a little bit higher to get that the different fibres of the pecs stretching. And then use the hips to come back in, obliques, ribs, chest, arm goes down. So let's do one more on this side. So today we'll do 3, but at home I'd say probably do about 8 to 10. And when you need more mobility and more stretch here, maybe just pop a dumbbell in your hand or something weighty and make sure that you're always maintaining control and rotate back down. Okay, so let's do the other side here. You're spinning around. Now, if you are having issues with a shoulder and the long arm is too much for you, you can take that hand behind your head as well. So there are lots of variations we can go for here. Once again, inhale, lift the top arm up to the ceiling and rotate out to the side. You've got your feet, hips and knees stacked. Inhale, breath where you are. And then exhale to come back. Rotating back into close. Now, the higher your legs are in front of you, the higher up your spine you're going to twist and the more stable you'll be. So if you're wanting to get a little bit more lower back turn and more control work through the core, you can have your legs further behind you. But if you're wanting more thoracic mobility, the knees are going to come higher. So there's lots of little tips here. Let's go for one more, and I'll just show you this last variation. You can actually go around the head. We call this one windmill, and that really opens up through the trunk and the shoulders back to your sort of 90-degree position. And then you can windmill to come back. There are heaps of different variations there. All right, so we're going to head back up into sitting next. The next exercise is called mermaid. So traditionally you're in this Z-sit position with one leg turned in and one leg turned out. We need a lot of external and internal rotation through the hips for golf. So this will be a good challenge for you, especially if you've got tight hips. For some people, this is not really that achievable. So you can still do this exercise in crossed legs or with legs out in front or sitting on a low chair. That's totally fine. So begin here if you can, and we're going to walk the hands out long and start to float them up to the sky. Turn the palms to face up. Inhale, draw your arms back and open up through the chest. Find a little thoracic extension. And then exhale, reach forward. So this is just a little bit of prep. Inhale, turn the palms up, reach back. Exhale, forward. And then we're going to open out to aeroplane position here. So you've got your ribs stacked, you're sitting tall, think crown to ceiling. And then you're going to side bend up and over an imaginary pipe on your right hand side. Land the right hand, the elbow will bend, and then you sweep the top arm up and across the ceiling. And we're trying to get maximum distance between the left pinky finger and the left butt bone that's kind of pressing into the floor. Take an inhale breath here and then restack the spine using your waist and side bend to the left. So this side's going to feel a little tighter because it is more mechanically blocked, just the position of our hips, and then restack. So again, today we're just going to go for 3 each side. Another common fault that I see here is people tend to let the shoulder shrug. So bend the right elbow and take the weight of your body through your tricep. Then you get a little bit of arm work there too. It's kind of like you're trying to push that mat away and pull your ribs in. Deep inhale breath, restack using your waist, up and over to the other side. Imagine picking your right ribs up to the sky and reaching across the room. Let's go one more each side on this turn, and then we'll swap it over. So you can think about those left ribs opening up like an accordion and the right ribs closing. One last time. Candy caning the spine. This nice little bit of imagery for you there, over to the left. You can even integrate a little bit of neck work there too, just turning. Restack the spine and swivel the legs around. Let's do the other side. So you will notice one side's going to be a little bit more challenging than the other side. Let's take the arms up. We can start with our prep work. Arms going back, open the chest. Inhale, look to the ceiling. Exhale, round the spine, reach forward. And inhale. Exhale, reach forward. Caving the spine back into C-curve. Hopefully you can see that in the mirror there as well. So we're opening back out to aeroplane, side bend over to the left side, but keep your right sit bone down. Bend left elbow, push the mat away, open up through the right rib cage. Now most people with stiff spines will also find the head pulls forward here, so keep it back. Deep inhale breath, restack the spine. Remember, it's all about space. Spacing in the spine, thinking of the vertebrae kind of reaching away from each other and then moving into side bend or front forward, front flexion, or wherever you're going. Finding space first, or axial elongation, is really key, and it's going to improve your swing so much. So we talk about fitness in golf, a lot about, people are still thinking about the traditional methods of strengthening, being, crunching in, and exercises that create contraction through the body. If you can build strength through length, that is going to give you the best chance at creating an awesome golf swing possible. So always remember that rule, create length first. All right, we're going to come back onto all fours and just finish with our thread the needle exercise. So you'll take your left hand and slide it on through and crawl it across the floor. So the right elbow will bend. Now it's not about getting the shoulder down to the floor, and it's not about crawling as far as you can with letting your body sneak with you. It's about finding a turn through your thorax. So think about the sternum winding to the ceiling, but you've got even weight through both knees. And then slowly work your way back, and we go to the other side. Right arm starts to crawl through. The left elbow is bending. As you crawl the right fingertips across, and I quite like to say to my clients, imagine the spine staying long, and it's only allowed on the rotational axis, kind of like you're a pig on a spit or a chicken on a spit. Whatever you prefer. If you're a vegetarian, I don't know, maybe a potato. So reaching through, remember the breath is going to help you here. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, go further. Restack the spine, and then go back through the other way. So visualize all those little muscles between the rib spaces kind of stretching out as you reach across. You take an inhale breath, that stretches them a little bit more. And then when you exhale, you might find that you've just got a little bit more length in the spine. Okay, restack. Now you can do a few more of those. Come back up into kneeling and just see how you feel. So we've mobilized the spine a lot into some rotations today. We have plenty more content for the body in general online on our Pilates Vibe website. We're going to be creating a membership portal as well, and if I get enough requests, I may even do a little bit more on the Golf and Pilates series. So I hope you found that useful, and feel free to comment and share with your friends.